Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. I am Vans. In today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to make this beautiful gathered gown with a gathered sleeve. It's actually very easy. The one in the blue is my inspiration, while the video is me on it. So if you're interested in this video, let's get right into it and make sure that you subscribe to my channel. So guys, for this video, we'll be making use of this African print. This is a 6-yard African print and a crepe fabric. So first of all, we're going to start with our pattern drafting. So guys, this is the pattern paper that I'll be using for the drafting. I'll go ahead and rule out the starting line. So when I'm done with the starting line, I'm going to go ahead and take my vertical measurement. My vertical measurement comprises of my underbust, my half length, and my hip line. My underbust is 13.5. My half length is 16 inches. I marked it out, and then from that 16 inches, I came down by 10 inches. I'll do the same thing for this end. I'll mark my underbust, my half length, and from my half length, I came down by 10 inches. So I'll go ahead and use my ruler to connect all of these points into a straight line, just the way you see me doing. So when I'm done with this, guys, I'll go ahead and indicate my shoulder line, my underbust line. I'll indicate half length and hip line. So we are using a bubu pattern to draft this style. So now for the neck width, for those that will be using neck width, I came in by 3.5. I will not be using any neck width because in the style is actually a v-neck, so I won't be making use of neck width. But for those that want to have a neck width and a neck depth, this is for you. It's okay to have a neck width and a neck depth, but because I'm working on the style, there's no need for the neck width and the neck depth. So I'll go ahead now and connect all of these points together. You should also do the same thing. So guys, when I'm done, I'll go ahead and take my across back. So the across back that I'll be using for this will be 20 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark my 20 inches right there. And from that shoulder line, that's the starting line, I came down by 13.5, which will serve as my underbust. So guys, I'll use my ruler to connect it into a straight line, just like this. And then from that underbust line, I'm going to repeat my cross back, which is 20. I'll mark it there, and I'll connect these 2 points together. This will serve as my sleeve line. So this is where my sleeve is going to pass through. So now from my underbust right here, I'm going to go ahead and take my underbust measurement. My round underbust is 29. 29 divided by 4 is 7.2. I marked it and I added my allowance. I did the same thing for my waistline. My waistline divided by 4, I marked it and I added my allowance. The same thing goes to my hip line. My hip divided by 4, I marked it there and I added my allowance. Although we will not be making use of the hip, but you have to still take your hip measurement. So I went ahead to connect all of these points together. So from my hip line, I came up by 4 inches from my hip line, and I'm going to connect that 4 inches to the center front, just the way you see me doing. So you should do the same thing for yours. From your hip line, come up by 4 inches and connect the center front, just like this. So when I'm done with this, guys, I'll go ahead and cut out the piece. So this was me cutting out. Just watch carefully what I'm doing. I first of all cut out the neck width and the neck depth for those of us that will be using neck width and neck depth. But I just did it for emphasis sake. But for me, I'm not going to use that. But if you're using that, as I explained earlier, you should go ahead and do it the proper way. So this pattern is basically like how you do your bubu. The difference is that for your bubu, you won't take your exact measurement, but because around the waist or around the tummy part of this dress is fitted, so that's why we had to go through this. So I went ahead on this part to indicate my pleats. So this will serve as my pleats, and this I will indicate front block, just the way you see me doing. So guys, I'm going to go ahead now and set this aside and bring a fresh pattern paper to draft out the back. So guys, for the front, I'm just going to go ahead now and place my front on this new pattern paper, just the way you see me doing. I'm going to trim out the excess from the pattern paper, and then I'm going to place place my front on it just like this. The reason for this is because this dress has a zip allowance, so we need the back block too. So this was me marking out the zip allowance. The zip allowance that I'll be using for this will be 1 inch. So when I achieved the 1 inch, I went ahead to cut it out just the way you see me doing. So this was it, guys. When I was done cutting, I'm going to go ahead now and indicate my back. So I'm going to mark back so I can know the difference between the back and the front. So basically this is it for the pattern drafting. So I'll go ahead now and bring in my African print and cut out. So this is my African print. This was me opening it up so I could fold it and cut out with my pattern. So this was when I folded. As you can see, the upper part of this African print is on fold while the other parts are opened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the pattern paper on it like this. Are you seeing? The closed part is the upper part. It doesn't need to be opened because that's where our rope is going to pass through along the shoulder line. I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. So when I'm done folding it, guys, I'll go ahead and cut out the pattern. This was me cutting out the pattern. So you should watch carefully how I was cutting it out so you won't make mistakes. So for this other part, you can see I didn't cut exactly on the length. I actually gave allowance around this area right now. And then for this part, I cut exactly the length straight down. So guys, when I'm done cutting, I'll just go ahead and notch. I'll do the same thing for the other end, guys. I'll set this aside and then I'll do the same thing for the other side of the pleat. So I folded my fabric like this into two. The upper part is closed, so I'm just going to use this one to cut out the second side of our sleeve. So when I'm done, I'm just going to go ahead and just cut it out following the same shape. So when I'm done with this, guys, I also go ahead and notch. You should notch yours too, so you're not going to confuse between the parts. So I'll go ahead now and set this aside and bring in my crepe fabric. So my crepe, I'm going to be folding into two just like this, and I'm going to place my pattern paper on it just like this too. So for the front, the center front will be closed while the other end is going to be opened. So this was me when I placed my center front. I went ahead to use my pins to secure my pattern paper with my crepe fabric together, just the way you see me doing. So guys, when I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. So I'll be leaving 1/2 inch allowance at the top of this part, and while the other end I'm going to cut the same thing. The down part also I'll be cutting out 1/2 inch. I'll be cutting out 1/2 inch for the joining. The 1/2 inch allowance I gave is for the joining of both the upper part and the down part. I hope you understand, guys. So I went ahead to trim out more of it because it wasn't looking equal at that end. So when I'm done, I'm going to also go ahead now and fold my crepe fabric again into two to cut out the back. So I'll place the back pattern on this folded end, and then I'm going to place it like this, and then I'll go ahead and cut out. But before I cut, I'm going to pin down. So you should pin down yours to secure both your pattern paper and your fabric together. So guys, when I'm done pinning down, I'll also go ahead and cut out. I also gave 1/2 inch at the upper part for the back, and I gave another 1/2 inch for the down part of the back, just the way I did for the front. That's the same thing I did for the back. So when I'm done cutting, I'll just go ahead now and set all of this aside, and I'll go ahead and open up my zip allowance at this end. So this was it, guys. The two back and front, and then my African print. Are you seeing? This is how it's going to be. So guys, I'll go ahead now and set this all aside to cut my garter. So for the garter, I'm going to be using the entire 6 yards of Ankara print. So what I'm going to do right now is to take the length. For the length of this Ankara print for the garter, I'm going to be using about 20 inches for it. You can use shorter length like 18 inches or 17 inches. It all depends on where you want it to stop, but for me, I like it at 20 inches. So when I was done, guys, I went ahead to cut out the part that I marked out, just the way you see me doing. So this side is now going to serve as our garter. So I'll go ahead now to my sewing machine, and I'm going to go ahead and gather this up. So before I do that, I'm going to just trim out all of these parts because I'll not be needing it. So I went ahead to trim it out, and I'll go ahead now and show you how all of this piece is going to look like before we join them all together. So guys, these are all of my piece. Are you seeing? Everything is already coming out. We've not even made it yet, but everything is taking shape. So basically, guys, I'm going to go ahead and set all of this piece that I cut out. I'm going to set it aside. Are you seeing that the upper part is on fold? The upper part is where our rope is going to sit. So I'm going to be making casing line alongside the upper part. So I'm going to go ahead now and set it aside and cut the lining that I will be needing for the other part, for the upper part. The upper part of our garter, that's our sleeve side, I'll be cutting a lining for it. Why? Because I do not want the Ankara print to, I just wanted a thickness, let me say. I wanted it to be thick. I wanted the fullness around that area. So that was why I went ahead to cut it with a lining. So guys, I've placed my African print on the lining. I'll go ahead right now and cut out. When I'm done cutting this, guys, I'll set it aside, and then I'll go ahead also and fold the lining again. I'll place the other African print on it, and I will cut out. Please subscribe to my channel, guys. So guys, when I'm done cutting, I went ahead to notch. So guys, this is it. I opened the lining and I placed the African print right side facing right side of the lining. So I'll go ahead right now and sew all of the side, but I'm going to leave the down part open. So guys, I'll set this aside and I'll bring in the other one. I want to explain further. So are you seeing at this end, guys? The reason why I asked you to notch was because when you open it up now, it's a bit confusing. Are you seeing? So that notch is going to be like a guide for you to know your upper part and the down part. So this is our back block, guys. I'll go ahead right now, and then I'm going to close up the zip allowance for the back, and I'll show you how it looks like. So I've gone ahead to close the zip allowance for the back, and I'll go ahead now and open it up. I'll go to my ironing table and give it a good press, both front and back of the back block. This is my sleeve. I've gone ahead to sew the lining and the fabric together just the way you see me doing. Are you seeing this part is closed? These other parts are closed. It's just the down part that is opened. So the same thing goes to the other part. Are you seeing? the shoulder side is closed while the other end is open. So this part that is open, we have some excess, so I went ahead to trim out all of the excess. I also went ahead to trim out the excess from the other part of our sleeves. So when I'm done, guys, I'll go ahead and open it up like this and draw a gather at the down part. Where it's closed is where I'm going to draw the gather, just around here. I'll do the same thing for this other one. I'll go and draw gather here. Are you seeing? I'll draw gather here and I will draw gather here. When I'm done, I'm going to show you how it looks like. So this is the gather that we made. This is 6 yards of the gather that we cut before. So I used my gather's foot for this. If you do not have a gather's foot, I would advise that you get one because it makes it much easier. So for the back, guys, I've gone ahead to iron out the back part. So what I'm going to do next is to take my shape. So for my shape, guys, I'm going to impute my underbust measurement, which is 7.2. That's 29 divided by 4, 7.2. I will not be taking my hip measurement because it's not necessary. So I'll just go back to my underbust and repeat my underbust measurement. So to get my hip line, what I'm going to do is the allowance remaining at this end, I'll just go ahead and repeat it around this area down to the hip line. I'll do the same thing, the allowance remaining here, I'll just repeat it around here. So you should do the same thing for yours. The allowance remaining here, since we'll not be using the hip measurement, you will just repeat it and then you will connect all of your points together into a straight line, just the way you see me doing. So this is our front block, guys. I'm going to go ahead now and remove all of my pins, and then I'm going to place the front and the back together. So that I'll go to my sewing machine and sew it down together. So this is me, guys, when I place the back on the front, and I'll go ahead now and follow this line and sew it down, and I'll also do the same thing for this other part. So this was when I was done sewing, guys. I've also gone ahead to iron. So I opened up the zip allowance, are you seeing, so that I can place the sleeve part. So now for the sleeve part, guys, on the center front, you could see that I notched it. I'm going to place it just like this, and I'm going to go ahead and pin it down. You should do the same thing for yours. Place your gathered sleeve. Are you seeing we gathered it, and the first sleeve should stop at the side. Are you seeing, guys? So that was it, guys. I'll do the same thing for this other end. I placed it like this, and then I stopped at the side sleeve. Then I'm going to go ahead right now and flip over to the other end. So this was me flipping over to the other end. I'm sorry this video is quite fast because it's taking a lot of time, but I know you're going to understand. So I flipped it over from my side. I placed the sleeve down to the zip part, and I went ahead to pin down just the way you see me doing. Are you seeing that our dress is already coming out? So when I'm done with this, guys, I'll go ahead and sew it in the sewing machine. So this was when I was done sewing with the sewing machine. Are you seeing? Gone ahead to sew the Ankara print together with the crepe fabric. So this was me trimming out the excess and the threads that was just hanging around there. So guys, this is the upper part. We are almost getting there. So basically, guys, I went ahead to try this on my body to see how it looks. Are you seeing at the shoulder end, I have actually made my rope casing that I'm going to pass through the, I don't know if you're seeing it, but I've made my rope casing along the shoulder line where my rope is going to pass. So I tried this on and I realized that my crepe fabric is too long. So I went ahead now to mark where I wanted it to be. So this was what I did, guys. From, you know that we used our underbust. So from that underbust, guys, I'm going to go ahead and take I'll place my tape on the underbust. That's the 13.5 inches that I marked initially. I'm going to place it like this. Are you watching? I'm going to place it like this, and then I'm going to come down from my hip, my underbust. I marked 18 inches. I marked 18 inches from that my underbust down to that point. So it was 18 inches mark that I used, and I'll use my French curve and connect it. How did I come about with the 18 inches? My half length is 16 inches, and then I added extra 2 inches to the half length because I do not want this back waistline gown to start directly on my waistline. I wanted it to come down a bit, so I came down from my waistline by 2 inches, making it 18 inches. Remember, my half length is 16 inches, so I added 2 inches, making it 18 inches. I hope you understand. So when I was done with that, I went ahead to trim it, and then I brought in my gather. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how I'm going to place my gather around the back's waistline. So this was me, guys, opening up my front upper bodies so that I could place the gather on it, just the way you see me doing. So I went ahead to find the midpoint of the gather to meet the midpoint of the backs. So you should do the same thing. Find the midpoint of your gather, let it meet the midpoint of your backs. So I trimmed out my backs a little bit because I was seeing that it was quite sharp, it was too pointy, so I had to trim it down a bit. So when I was done, guys, I now pinned down the midpoint of the gather and the midpoint of the backs. I pinned it down together. So I did the same thing for the other part. I got the midpoint for the side. I used seam, I pinned it down, and then I will do all of this. I'm going to go ahead right now and pin all of it down, and you will see how it will turn out. So watch closely how I was able to do it. If you found value in my channel so far, please do well to subscribe to my channel, like my video, leave a comment in the comment section. If you have any question that you need to ask me, or you have any dress that you want me to make a tutorial on, and I'll be glad to do so. So guys, I was done pinning. So what I'm going to do next now is to go ahead and sew it down by 1/2 inch. I'll take it to my sewing machine and I'll sew it down by 1/2 inch. So this was when I was done sewing, guys. Are you seeing our dress? Our dress is so fine, like seriously, and it's very easy. So I'll go ahead right now and turn it over to the back so that I could attach my zip. So this is the zip that I'll be using, guys. I'll go ahead and attach the zip, and then I'll show you how it looks like. So this was when I was done attaching the zip, guys. Here trimming out all of the threads that is kind of showing around the zip area. So guys, at this point, if you've not subscribed to my channel, please do well to subscribe, turn on the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. So guys, for this shoulder line, I'm going to go ahead now and open up this end because that is where the rope is going to pass through. So I'm going to open it up. As you can see, there's a line between that shoulder line, just the way you see me doing, and that line is the casing that I made for the rope. So you should do the same thing for your own. You should make a casing along the shoulder line. So this is the rope that I'll be using. The length of the rope is 24 inches, while the width that I used was 1.5 inches width. So guys, I will now go ahead now and bring in my dress. I'll use my safety pin, and then I'll pass the safety pin through the rope just like this, and then I'll pass the rope inside of the casing that I made. So this was me passing the rope inside of the casing that I made. So when I'm done, guys, with the whole passing of the rope inside of the casing, I'm going to show you how it looks like. So this was when I was done with both. Are you seeing our dress? It's beautiful. You should try this. You should make something like this for yourself. You're going to look outstanding, stunning. So for the back, I'm going to attach extra rope at the back. So from the midpoint of my shoulder, I will come down by 2 inches. I'm going to go ahead right now and place my rope on that 2 inches. So I'm going to go ahead now and pin down. The reason for this rope is so that it could hold the both back together. So I did the same. I rechecked if it was in the 2 inches, and it was. So I did the same thing for the other part of the sleeve. I indicated my 2 inches, and I placed my rope there just the way you see me doing, and I pinned it down. So I'm going to go ahead to my sewing machine and sew it down, and this is how the rope is going to be. It's going to be tied at my back to hold both sleeves together. So guys, we've come to the end of today's tutorial. So this was me when I rocked it. Are you seeing how beautiful it looks? So I'm going to see you in my next tutorial. Bye guys.